Hello, I'm Ariam, and these are all my favorite books that I read in September of 2025. So we'll try to go by grade level. So starting from a picture book, which is probably my favorite out of this list, actually, is Don't Trust Fish by Neil Sharpson. This was such a fun book. It's told by, you discover who in the end, but someone who really does not want you to trust fish. And it's really funny. One of the funny things about it is that it starts off as like a boring baby book, like this is a cow, cows say moo, and this is a sheep, sheep say ba, this is a fish, don't trust fish. And then it goes, and then as you read on, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier until they're like aliens and stuff, and then finally, and then it suddenly goes back to how it started. This is a donkey, donkey say he haw. And I thought it was so funny and so fun, and the illustrations were so creative and obviously so talented. Wait, I think it's not Neil Sharpson that illustrated it. Yeah, it was Dan Santa who illustrated it. So shout out to Neil Sharpson for writing it and Dan Santa for illustrating it. Another picture book at a slightly higher reading level was Stranded, a mostly true story from Iceland by Ivar Thor Benedictson and illustrated by Anne Wilson. This is a story about the author's grandfather who, when there's this island called Surtsey, and it's pretty new, recent. It came from a volcanic explosion in the 60s. And his grandfather got permission as a young man to go with his friend and explore it. But they accidentally, the person who was supposed to take them back, forgot about them. And they got stuck on the island. I thought the illustrations were very nice, very pretty. And I thought the story was honestly super interesting. I ended up learning a lot about the Icelandic climate and also about islands that pop up from volcanoes and how and what they're like on the first few days that they're like on the first few months of them being formed. Then, at a slightly higher level, we have a middle grade called Unseen Magic by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is kind of a magical realism story. So we're following this character who moves with her mom to her mom's hometown, and her mom's hometown is magic. And she accidentally makes, and our main character has anxiety, and she accidentally makes a tea person out of this tea that she was magic tea that she was trying to cure anxiety with, and things start happening in this town, and she has to figure out how to protect the town, and obviously she doesn't want to tell anyone what she did. I didn't love how they treated her anxiety at the end. It felt like too much like, oh, it will go away if we just take her to therapy or whatever. But besides that, I like this book. Like, I thought it was very, I thought it was a nice book. Okay, then I have two adult books. We will start with The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. And this is a speculative mystery. We are following a character, we don't know their name, who wakes up in the body of a person in this mansion. And they wake up while running through a forest with someone chasing them. And eventually they find out that they will wake up every day at the same hour in the body of a different person. Well, not at the same hour, but like if that person is awake at 12, then they'll be at the person's body at 12. If that person wakes up at 8, they'll only wake up at 8. But like in the body of a person, and they have to figure out who murders Evelyn Hardcastle, who is also at this party at this mansion. I thought that it was very cleverly done, and I really enjoyed the twists and turns and how everything was put together. The only thing I didn't like was the ending. I felt really disappointed in it because we built all these twists and turns, and I just was so enjoying the ride of how everything connects together, and then the ending, it felt like it just came and blew it all away. Like it wasn't really connected. But overall, I really, really, really did like this book. And lastly, I read What If 2 by Randall Munroe. This is probably my favorite book after Don't Trust Fish. This is if you don't know who Randall Munroe is, he writes the comic XKCD. He's an engineer and he writes little funny comics about science. The What If books, What If 1, which I read in 10 years ago, and What If 2 are books where people sent him silly questions that he treats seriously as science, or silly questions that he treats, or serious questions that he treats sillily. And it's just such a fun time. It's also funny, and he also really manages to get the science across, and it's so interesting to read, and I loved it. So those are my favorite books that I read in September.